You know that feeling, right? That exact moment the ice cream craving just hits.
Oh, yeah.
You walk into a store, your eyes are scanning, and then bang, there it is. That beautiful display, perfectly lit up, every single flavor just glistening, waiting for you.
It's a powerful pull, definitely. Pure retail psychology almost.
It really is. But have you ever stopped to think about what's actually making that moment possible? The unsung hero behind that perfect scoop.
The freezer itself.
Exactly, the commercial ice cream freezer. And today, we're doing a deep dive into that world. We've got some really fascinating market research here that kind of pulls back the curtain on this often overlooked piece of equipment.
That's right. Our mission today is really to unpack the global commercial ice cream freezer market outlook 2021-2033. It's from Cognitive Market Research.
Okay.
Like you said, this isn't just about keeping things cold. Not at all. It's a critical multi-billion-dollar industry,
Mm.
and it's quietly driving how people shop, how they engage, and yeah, massive sales figures.
Absolutely. So get ready because we're going to give you a shortcut to understanding this surprisingly dynamic market. We'll highlight the key drivers, the growth, and crucially, where things are really heating up, globally speaking.
Sounds good.
Okay, so to start us off, when we say commercial ice cream freezers, what exactly are we talking about? How are these different from, the one I've got in my kitchen?
Right. Good question. So we're talking about a really specific, critical segment within the larger commercial refrigeration industry. These aren't your home freezers. They're specialized units,
Okay.
essential for preserving all kinds of frozen desserts. Think big retail chains, your local corner store, restaurants, cafes, all sorts of food service places.
Gotcha.
And they have this sort of sophisticated triple mandate, you could say.
Yeah.
They absolutely must be energy efficient. They need to have great aesthetic presentation, really catch the customer's eye, and they need to make it easy for people to actually grab the product.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and those three things, efficiency, looks, accessibility, they're foundational. They directly drive whether someone stops, looks, and ultimately buys. It's all connected to sales.
That triple mandate, that really clicks, especially thinking about impulse buys. You see it looks good, easy to grab,
Yep.
sold.
Exactly.
But I wonder, is there sometimes a tension between those things? Like, does making it look amazing ever hurt the energy efficiency, or are manufacturers finding ways to do both?
That's a really sharp question. And yeah, historically, there could definitely be trade-offs. More glass might mean less insulation, potentially.
Right.
But innovation is increasingly bridging that gap. Manufacturers are putting in serious work. We're seeing things like advanced compressors, much better insulation materials, often paired with smart energy systems now, stuff that optimizes power use, maybe runs differently during off-peak hours.
Smart tech, basically.
Totally. And at the same time, for the aesthetics, you're seeing these beautiful panoramic glass designs, dynamic LED lighting, sometimes even digital screens built right in for ads or promotions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, all while trying to maintain or even improve the energy side. It's a constant balancing act, this evolution, to meet all three needs without, compromising.
Fascinating. So yeah, definitely not just a cold box. It's a highly engineered piece of tech.
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's talk scale, because the report lays out some truly massive growth figures for this market globally.
It does.
Back in 2021, this market was already worth over, $9 billion?
9,014.87 million, yep.
And then jumping to over 11.3 billion in 2025.
11,338.2 million projected for that.
And the projection out to 2033, it's expected to hit almost $18 billion. 17,935.4 million. That is a huge leap.
It really is. And if you sort of connect that to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
this consistent growth rate, they're projecting a compound annual growth rate, a CGR, of 5.9% just from 2025 to 2033.
Which is pretty robust.
Very robust. And it suggests more than just, people liking ice cream more. It points to bigger global trends, things like increased demand for convenience foods, for frozen desserts generally, often linked to rising incomes, more people living in cities. It also shows businesses are continuing to invest heavily in their stores, in their retail infrastructure. They're adapting to how people shop now, expanding what they offer.
Yeah.
And this isn't just in established markets, but really significantly in emerging economies too.
So it reflects wider shifts in lifestyles and how retail works.
Exactly. Shifting lifestyles, evolving retail strategies, it's all wrapped up in there.
These global numbers definitely paint a big picture. The sheer scale is impressive. But, the real story is often in the details, isn't it?
Always.
And the regional insights here really show where the action is, where the market's expanding fastest, and maybe why. So let's start our regional tour. Maybe North America. What's the story there?
Okay, North America. It's a very substantial market, as you expect, valued at just over $3 billion back in 2021.
3,038.01 million. Yeah.
And it's projected to nearly double, hitting almost $5.82 billion by 2033. That's with a pretty respectable CGR of about 5.6%. So it's a mature but still growing quite nicely.
Almost 6 billion. Wow. And within North America, any specific countries standing out?
Well, no surprise, the U.S. is the big player. Its market is forecast to grow from around $2.5 billion up towards $4.6 billion by 2033.
Okay, 2,475.98 million to 4,553.56 million. Steady growth.
Yeah, CGR around 5.2%. Canada also shows solid, steady growth, maybe a bit faster, actually, around 6.5% TGR.
$294 million up to $622 million for Canada.
Exactly. But the one that really jumps out is Mexico.
Ah, okay.
Mexico's projected CAGR is remarkably high for the region, nearly 7.5%.
7.483%. Yeah, that is higher than the U.S. and Canada, going from $267 million up to over $643 million.
Right, and that surge likely points to a few things. Probably a booming middle class, more urbanization driving growth in convenience stores.
Yeah.
Maybe even shifts in what people are eating. It makes Mexico look like a really critical market for brands looking to expand in that region.
That higher growth rate in Mexico compared to its neighbors is definitely a key takeaway. Interesting. All right, let's hop across the Atlantic. Europe.
Europe's another substantial market, definitely. Projected to grow from $2.6 billion in 2021
$2,605.3 million
to nearly $5 billion by 2033. That's a key GAGR just under 5.5%.
Okay, so similar overall growth rate to North America, roughly.
Roughly, yeah. And the big players are who you expect. The UK is set to go over $1 billion.
$471 million to over $1 billion. Yeah, nice growth there. Over 6.2% CAGR.
Germany's another huge one, projected to hit about $1.3 billion. France is solid too, moving towards $670 million.
Germany from $656 million to $1.3 billion. France from $375 million to $672 million. Makes sense.
But what's really fascinating in Europe, I think, is this category they call Rest of Europe.
Oh, what's that showing?
It shows the highest KGR within Europe.
Over 9%.
Wow, 9.176%. That's significant, from $83 million up to $236 million. Exactly. So it's not just a tiny niche growing fast.
Right.
It indicates really significant emerging growth and opportunities in maybe some of those less traditionally dominant European markets. Could be new retailers moving in, changing consumer habits outside the big economies. Something's definitely happening there.
That's a really interesting point. Okay, so Europe's got its established players, but also this pocket of faster growth. What about moving east to Asia Pacific?
Right, Asia Pacific. This region stands out as just colossal. And expanding rapidly.
Okay.
It's projected to more than double, from about $1.8 billion in 2021
$1,821 million
to nearly $3.91 billion by 2033. And that's driven by a strong CGR of almost 6.4%.
6.383%. So faster growth than North America or Europe overall.
Definitely. And leading that charge is China, contributing a huge chunk of that growth, going from over $600 million towards $1.4 billion.
$617 million to $1.35 billion for China. Big numbers.
Huge. But India also shows a really rapid surge, reflecting its massive population, growing consumer base. It's expected to go from around 211 million up to over 510 million.
Wow, more than doubling too.
Yeah. And then you've got other key markets playing crucial roles too: Japan, South Korea, Australia, Singapore, and the rapidly developing Southeast Asian nations plus Taiwan. It's a really dynamic region overall.
Okay, so Asia Pacific is a major powerhouse. What about other regions? South America?
South America's market is also on a solid upward path, from about 838 million in 2021
$838.382 million
to an expected 1.55 billion by 2033. Brazil, Argentina, Colombia are some of the key contributors there. The overall CAGR is around 5.3%.
1,554.21 million by 2033. Solid growth. And the Middle East.
The Middle East is another really strong performer, actually. It's reporting a robust CAGR of over 7%.
7.17%. That's quite high.
It is. The market's expanding from just over 423 million in 2021 to over 950 million projected for 2033. Countries like Saudi Arabia, Turkey, the UAE, they're seeing substantial investment and growth, likely tied to, economic diversification efforts and a rising demand for consumer goods.
Interesting. 423.699 million and 950.576 million. Okay, one more region, Africa.
Right, and Africa is.
Yeah.
Well, it's a true standout in terms of growth rate. an impressive TGR of 8.7%.
Wow, 8.7119%. That's the highest we've seen yet,
It
right?
is. The market there is projected to grow from around 288 million in 2021 up to a substantial 726 million or so by 2033.
288.476 million to 725.982 million. That's significant growth from a smaller base.
Exactly, and it's really compelling. It suggests rapid economic development, expanding retail infrastructure, a growing middle class, especially in nations like Nigeria and South Africa, which are mentioned as key contributors. It really points to Africa as a burgeoning market with immense future potential.
Okay, so when we put all these regional pieces together, Mexico's strong growth, rest of Europe's surge, the Middle East's pace, and especially Africa's leading CAGR, what does this all really mean for someone trying to understand global economic trends? This isn't just about selling more ice cream, is it? What broader shifts does this seemingly niche market actually reveal?
Precisely. You're spot on. This consistent growth, especially in these specific areas, it fundamentally backs up those core drivers we talked about earlier.
Right, energy efficiency, the look, the accessibility.
Exactly. But it also shines a light on much broader economic shifts. We're seeing the impact of rising disposable incomes, particularly in these emerging markets. We're seeing urbanization driving the need for convenience. And just a general global pivot towards ready-to-eat frozen consumer goods. And this really raises an important question, doesn't it? How are these trends going to influence innovation, in the actual design and function of these freezers moving forward? And what does that mean for the businesses involved?
That's a critical point.
Yeah.
Because it suggests these drivers' efficiency, looks, ease of use, they aren't just features anymore. They're actually pushing the boundaries of what a freezer needs to do.
Right.
We're probably not just talking small improvements here, are we? Maybe we're looking at smarter freezers. Ones that can, predict inventory needs or have customizable digital displays that react to who's walking by.
Or maybe even modular designs, yeah.
Yeah.
Things that can adapt to smaller store formats or pop-up retail trends.
Or energy-saving modes that link up with smart grid systems. It sounds like this is moving way beyond just keeping things cold. It's becoming part of this dynamic, data-driven retail infrastructure.
Exactly that. It's really about how manufacturers are trying to anticipate and then respond to the changing needs of this global retail landscape, focusing on solutions that are intelligent, efficient, and visually appealing. That's going to be critical for success in what's clearly a very competitive market ahead.
It really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? How something that seems as straightforward as a freezer is actually plugged into this huge, dynamic, expanding global industry. And it's quietly but really powerfully shaping consumer habits and driving significant economic growth.
It really is.
So maybe the next time you walk into a store, you might actually see some of these changes reflected right there in the ice cream aisle, shaping your experience in ways you hadn't even thought about before.
Absolutely. And the sheer scale of the growth, especially highlighting those emerging markets we talked about, Mexico, parts of Europe, the Middle East, and particularly Africa, it really underscores where new consumption patterns are taking hold fast and where big retail investments are happening.
Yeah.
It just shows how even these seemingly specific niche markets are totally intertwined with the bigger global economic picture.
So maybe as you go about your day, perhaps even grabbing a frozen treat later, here's a thought to mull over. What other invisible but totally essential commercial equipment markets are out there, quietly booming and shaping the world around us in ways we almost never consider?
That's a good question.
It definitely encourages us all to look beyond the obvious, doesn't it?
You know that feeling, right? That perfect scoop of ice cream, maybe a bite of some amazing frozen dessert. It's that moment, texture, flavor, just perfect. It's such a simple pleasure, really. But have you ever stopped to think about the engineering behind it? All the tech that makes sure that moment happens, every single time. Today, we're going deep. We're diving into something most people probably don't think about, the commercial ice cream freezers market. It's kind of this hidden engine, absolutely critical for the whole frozen dessert world. This is where technology meets taste, where performance basically guards the flavor. So our mission today, we're going to unpack what's shaping this market, we'll look at the challenges, and peek at the innovations, making sure that perfect scoop gets from the back kitchen right to your bowl or cone. We're extracting the key bits from our sources here.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because it's so much more than just keeping things cold, We're really talking about a pretty sophisticated mix of engineering, material science, design, all working together. It's all about ensuring that consistency, that quality, whether it's artisan gelato or, high volume soft serve.
Okay, so let's get into it. What's really driving this market forward?
Yeah.
What are the main engines for growth in the commercial ice cream freezer world right now?
Well, one of the biggest things isn't just like more people eating ice cream generally. It's more about how we're consuming it, the evolution of it globally. Think about it, all the specialized gelato places popping up, premium
Yeah.
dessert shops, even high-end food delivery booming. These channels, they don't just need volume, they need like an absolute guarantee of quality preservation, top
Yeah.
notch. So that's pushing the need for more sophisticated freezer tech, not just more freezers, but better freezers. And businesses are definitely investing in that higher end equipment.
Oh, okay. That distinction makes a lot of sense. It's not just volume, but the how and the where we're getting it. So, moving beyond just sheer numbers, how is this changing demand pushing manufacturers on the, let's say, the quality and precision side?
Yeah.
What do these freezers actually do differently now?
That's a really crucial point because modern commercial freezers, they offer way more than just, basic cold storage. They give you optimized performance. We're talking features like precise digital thermostats, advanced shock freezing, that's for cooling things down super fast, even designs with multiple compartments. This lets businesses manage all sorts of different products meticulously. It cuts down spoilage massively because it locks in freshness
Yeah.
and it maintains that perfect texture and quality. It, stops those nasty ice crystals forming even when it's really busy, like high traffic conditions.
Right. No one wants crunchy ice cream when it shouldn't be. And speaking of the bigger picture, what about things like energy efficiency, environmental responsibility? How much does that really factor into buying decisions? Is it just a nice bonus, or is it genuinely a top priority now?
Oh, it's absolutely top tier now, a real differentiator. Think about it. Energy costs keep going up. Sustainability standards are getting tighter everywhere. Businesses are really looking hard at their operational footprint. So newer units, you see them increasingly using eco-friendly refrigerants, like R290. It's a natural propane-based one. Much lower global warming potential than the older chemicals. Plus, you add in things like LED lighting, better insulation, variable speed compressors. Businesses are actively choosing these models. They cut down the utility bill, sure, but they also visibly align with their green commitments. It's a clear shift, both fiscally smart and environmentally responsible.
Okay, that's a great transition then, because even with all this cool innovation, there got to be hurdles, right? Challenges. What are some of the main restraints sort of holding back growth or making things difficult in this market?
Well, yeah, the first one that probably springs to mind is just the cost, the high upfront cost, and also the ongoing operating costs. Commercial grade units, especially the ones with all the fancy features or big capacity, they can be pretty pricey to buy and then to run. So for smaller places, maybe startups, food trucks, justifying that big expense can be tough, especially if they're in areas maybe without great energy infrastructure or, less financial support available.
Yeah, I can see that. That initial investment is a big decision. And there's just the physical size, right? These things aren't exactly compact.
No, definitely not mini fridges. A lot of commercial freezers need quite a bit of floor space. Plus, they need proper airflow around them to work efficiently. So if you've got a tiny kiosk or a really busy food truck or just a small shop layout, fitting these big units in without messing up the workflow or the customer experience can get pretty complicated. Space is almost always tight in kitchens and retail spots. It forces some hard choices.
And once they're installed, I bet it's not just plug it in and forget it.
Mhm.
Maintenance must be a pretty big ongoing thing, too.
It really is, yeah. Think about the critical parts, compressors, defrost systems, those door seals. They all need regular checks and upkeep to keep working properly. If something goes wrong, like ice builds up, or the temperature starts fluctuating wildly, or a gasket fails, that can shut down operations. It compromises the product quality, and you can end up losing a lot of stock, which is expensive. So for businesses that don't have strong technical support handy or maybe haven't had enough training, these problems can mean serious downtime. It really underlines why reliable after-sales service is becoming almost as important as the freezer unit itself.
Okay, so understanding those challenges, the costs, the space, the upkeep, where's the market actually heading now? What are the sort of cutting-edge trends shaping how these freezers are designed and used?
Well, one of the most fascinating shifts, I think, is the move towards smart connectivity, remote monitoring. Today's commercial freezers are increasingly getting IoT features,
Yeah.
Internet of Things. It means they can connect to networks, send real-time data, so operators can now track performance metrics, internal temperature, how much energy it's using, even if the door's been left open from anywhere, basically, on their phone or computer. We're even seeing predictive maintenance alerts, like it tells you before something breaks, and automated logs for compliance. It's not just boosting efficiency, it's dramatically cutting product loss and improving improving food safety overall.
Wow. So they're not just dumb boxes anymore. They're actually like communicating, even anticipating problems. That's a huge step up. And I feel like I've seen freezers that look, well, nicer, more like display cases you want to look into.
Yeah.
Is that part of a trend too?
Oh, absolutely. Integrated display and visual design enhancements are a massive trend. Huge. Freezers aren't just functional storage tucked away in the back anymore. They're part of the customer experience, part of the shop's look and feel. You see units with big panoramic glass doors or elegantly curved lids, lighting you can customize with branding, stylish shelves. It all helps retailers show off their products much more attractively, makes things look tempting. And that doesn't just bring people in, it encourages those impulse buys because the product just looks irresistible right there. It's a really clever mix of function and retail merchandising.
Yeah, turning a utility into a marketing tool. That's pretty smart. What else is emerging? Are they getting more versatile maybe?
Yes, exactly. Modular and hybrid freezer models are definitely gaining traction. Businesses have such varying demand, seasonal changes, different products, so manufacturers are offering these adaptable systems. They might combine freezing, storage, and display all in one unit, optimized to save space. These flexible models are great for places with menus that change a lot or really seasonal items. It maximizes their return on investment and saves that crucial space at the same time. It's all about being adaptable in, well, a very dynamic market.
So with all this happening, who are the actual companies? Who are the big players driving this innovation and setting the pace?
It's quite a diverse landscape, actually. You've got a mix of manufacturers. What's really interesting in this segment is this kind of strategic tension. You have the established global giants, think Hussmann, Hare, True Manufacturing, Metal Frio, names like that who focus on scale, reliability, the workhorses. But then you also have these nimble innovators carving out niches with really advanced features, maybe focusing on specific types of freezers. So each company is sort of vying for market share by emphasizing different things. Some go for volume and bulletproof reliability. Others push the cutting-edge smart tech. Some might focus on hyper-specific uses for, say, gelato shops or labs.
And what are these companies really focusing on to stay competitive, to keep their edge in this kind of environment?
A lot of them are intensely focused on pushing the core refrigeration tech forward, making it more efficient, more precise. They're also looking at strategic expansion, moving into new geographic markets where demand is growing, and crucially, meeting those sustainability goals we talked about. That's becoming table stakes, really. Plus, they're constantly refining their after-sales service networks and investing heavily in those smart connected features. That seems key to staying at the forefront.
Right. Well, that pretty much wraps up our journey through the commercial ice cream freezer market. It really is a dynamic blend, isn't it? Technology, efficiency, even design. Things we probably don't think about when we're just enjoying that scoop.
Exactly. And when you connect all the dots, the drivers, the challenges, the trends, it all comes together for one reason, making sure every single scoop reaches the customer tasting just right. Perfect. It really highlights the intricate science, the meticulous engineering behind what seems like such a simple pleasure. This deep dive has sort of peeled back the curtain on the hidden world behind our favorite frozen treats, and it makes you think. It raises an interesting question for you, the listener, to maybe ponder. Knowing how much precise engineering goes into something seemingly as straightforward as an ice cream freezer, what other everyday items do you now wonder about? What else has this kind of complex, unseen world of technology making sure it works perfectly for you?
That is a fascinating thought to chew on. Thank you for joining us on this really insightful deep dive today.